afternoon. We're here doing another edition of New Millennium Oral History Archives in the World, and we're with an activist, a presenter, journalist, presenter, and writer, and all-round sort of Renaissance man, Doshon Farad. Here, Friday, 21 May 2021, in Union Square Park. Another al fresco edition of New Millennium Oral History Archive. Doshon, tell us, your background is New Jersey.
That's correct. Well, I was born July 14, 1977 in New Jersey. I was educated. I was raised in East Orange, New Jersey.
East Orange, New Jersey, yes.
It was also a home to Whitney Houston, Naughty by Nature, John Amos, so many other notables. Right across the river from New York City, about maybe 25 to 30 minutes on the train. So on that train route, I was my formal education that began at Franklin School.
Franklin School, yeah.
Then Columbia School. Franklin School is now Whitney Houston Academy for the Performing Arts.
Since renamed.
Right, she went there. The principal there, Mr. Hamilton, he was there when she was there. He's still there. Man's in his 80s. Then I transferred to Columbia School on the other side of town. From there, middle school, I attended Sojourner Truth Middle School, which is a part of Park Middle School complex in East Orange. My principal was a phenomenal black woman, Afrocentric black woman, who wasn't afraid of black men, by the name of Miss Brenda Veal. Okay, from there, I went to Clifford J. Scott High School, graduated in 1996 from Clifford Scott High School. Went to Stockton State College for 3 semesters, Richard Stockton College in New Jersey and Pomona, which is outside of Atlantic City. From fall 96 to spring 97, I attended 3 semesters and then transferred to William Patterson University, which is where I graduated from.
2001.
Oh, good. 2001. Finished it 2001, walked in 2002. Graduation ceremony was in 02. From there, my activism, I've been an activist. Describe me as an activist. I've been involved in activism since I was a teenager, but I grew up in an activist home. Being exposed to Minister Louis Farrakhan, John Henry Clark.
In fact, your parents were members of the Nation of Islam.
Under the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I had other relatives of mine in the nation under the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. But I came up listening to Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Imam Wallerstein Muhammad, so many people. You referred to me, brother, as a Renaissance man. Dr. Alan Locke is my fraternity brother, the New Negro.
Great Alvin Locke.
Definitely, and I appreciate you calling me that, even though I didn't consider myself that right away. Thank you. Anyway, after William Patterson, while I was finishing with William Patterson, I joined the new Black Panther Party under Malik Zubal months after Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad had left us, January of that year, 2001. Rose in the ranks of the new Black Panther Party, becoming a chairman, all the way to the position of national assistant to Malik Zubal, the national chairman. So that was like his right hand.
Oh, so I didn't realize you were in the new Black Panther Party for about 5 years or so? From 2001 to 2006, straight, and then I will come back on and off. From 2001, basically, technically 2001 to 2010. But it's not the new Black Panther Party is not an offshoot of the Black Panther Party.
Actually, I wouldn't say an offshoot.
There's a lot of tension between the older Panthers.
Well, it depends. Well, Brother Jay, it depends on which older Panthers you speak to. Okay, there were many original Panthers who had serious issues with the new Black Panther Party. And then, of course, you have many original members who supported or support the new Black Panther Party. And I had the privilege of some of them were members of the new Black Panther Party. When you're talking about the Huey P. Newton Foundation, and at one point our elder brother Bobby Seale, yes, they were against the new Black Panther Party, but there were many other original Panthers who were not. So
is it because the
Hoover bin Wahad,
Bullwhip supports?
At that time, when I was in it, Bullwhip was one of our advisors, as was Brother Shep. They were one of our advisors at that time. They were giving us counsel in this city.
But what year? You're talking about early 2000s?
Well, I'm talking about the time that I was there, 2001, 4, 5, 6. We had a very close, from what
you mentioned Daruba Ben Wahad?
Yes, Daruba, brother. He came.
But you know what happened?
Right.
One of the new Black Panther Party.
That was
assaulted him.
Right. That was in 2015. But prior to that, brother, what I'm explaining is that was there was mutual cooperation between many original Panthers. That's the point. Every single original Panther was not against the new Black Panther Party under Khalid or Malik. That's a misconception that's been put out there by members of the media.
How old would you say the new Black Panther Party is?
It was founded by Aaron Michaels in Dallas, Texas in 1989. So
that far back? Right. I didn't realize it went that far back. That's 33 years.
Definitely.
31 years.
Right, definitely. Dallas, Texas. Brother Aaron Michael.
32 years. So,
Right.
yeah.
So that was founded in Dallas. I think he was threatened with a lawsuit. That's why he used the term New Black Panther. However, you can't sue for the name because the Panther belongs to the people. Remember, Brother Bobby Seale and Dr. Hugh D. Newton, they had to get permission from the Lowndes County voting party to use the Panther, so the Panther belongs to the people. So it really wasn't much of a case.
That's an interesting take on it. I mean, there was another iteration of the Lowndes County Party
Right, definitely.
before the Black Panther Party started.
That's
you know when
correct.
that was?
That part I don't remember the year,
That was
but
in
I'm aware of
August
it.
of '66 in Harlem.
Now,
That
see,
group lasted a few months. Very interesting history.
Now, see, I didn't know that it was in August, but I knew about it. That was the
It
thing.
was around August or so, that summer, 3 months before the founding of the Black Panther Party in Oakland. Same year, '66. But there was, I've been to a forum on that. It was an iteration of that Black Panther Party in New York, and then it was formalized in Oakland a few months later, in October 12th, '66.
Jay, you just told me the full history. Like I said, I knew a piece of that, but I didn't know that it was never explained to me. It never expounded upon.
Well, I always say the history is there for us to know. We just have to.
We're students and teachers of each other.
That's right. It's there. Now, was Malik in charge of that, the new Black Panther Party, when you were there?
Yes, in 2001, after Khalid Abdul Muhammad had left us, his untimely death, January 2001, in the land of Georgia, Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz.
Howard alum, right?
Howard alumni. Another
Did he
Howard
go to
alumni.
law school there?
Right, he went to both. He went to undergrad and law school. But he was there with Mayor Raz Baraka, with Mayor Qasim Reed from out of Atlanta, with
a number of people.
Right, a number of people
That's
that
Howard alum.
Right, a number of people that we see now. We actually was in school with them.
Right.
So, a number of people definitely. So.
And then, if I recall, about 4 or 5 years ago, Attorney Malik Shabazz appointed someone else to head it up.
What happened was that Hashim Nzinga, who he passed on this past September. I was just, in Atlanta, worked closely with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. But when that took place in 2014, Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz had announced that he was going to that he was stepping down and he was going to have elections for anyone to run for new positions. So he somewhat changed direction and ended up appointing people, and it actually led to when he appointed Hashim Nzinga, who was the National Chief of Staff under his leadership. A split that took place, a major split. Now, there were already variations of the organizations referring to themselves as the New Black Panther Party, New Black Panther Nation in Detroit, New Black Panther Vanguard out of Dallas, Texas. Many of them had split after Khalid had passed on. Many of them didn't like Malik Zulu Shabazz. Disagreed with him. But there was still.
What was the disagreement over? Was it over because the New Black Panther is largely marked by kind of separatists.
Well, these are
racial separatists.
Well, these were people that agreed with racial separatism. That they just didn't like Malik.
Okay.
They didn't like Malik. In this movement, you're going to have people that don't like each other. Within the Black Liberation Movement, everyone wanted to reach the same goal. You're going to have that. It's just human nature. Unfortunately, we as black people, whenever we have a split, it's always black people can't get along. See, that's why they sold each other into slavery in Africa. But anyone else, it's all over. That's just human beings. Humans are going to be humans. That's human nature.
Let's understand.
We're going to be, we're going to dispute each other. We'll fight wars with each other, kill each other. That's not just a black thing.
Absolutely.
We're not,
it's a human thing.
Right, it's human things. We're no worse than any other human being.
Absolutely. You and I know better than that, so
definitely.
We know.
And now, what I was saying, as I was saying, so there was still one main New Black Panther Party under Malik Zulu Shabazz. So once he had appointed Hashim Nzinga, there were many people who were disgruntled. They felt that he went against his own word, and they split and started. There's another main formation called New Black Panther Party under Sister Crystal Muhammad out of Houston, Texas. I was just with her 2 weeks ago. She came up because.
So how many offshoots are there from this original New Black Panther Party, which was formed in '89?
That part I don't know. That part I'm not aware of.
Now, how about, I spoke to Fred Hampton, he may still be in New York. He was here for the remembrance.
Chairman Fred Hampton.
Yeah, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr.
He actually supported us at one time, too.
Right. Which group is he part of? The son of Fred Hampton Jr.
Brother, I'll be honest with you. Brother, his organization, I think the letters are CCP. I forgot.
He's with the Cubs.
Right, the Cubs. But he chaired, and I feel bad because I used to know the organization. word for word the organization. So please forgive me, Chairman Fred, if you're watching this, please forgive me. I love you tremendously. Just that I just forgot.
Right, it happens.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity.
So he has his own organization.
Right. And I
Fred
know,
Hampton Jr.
right, definitely out of Chicago. He's in the tradition of his father, Fred Hampton Sr.
Fired.
Very fired.
He's even older than his father now. He's almost three times as old as his father was. Oh, can you believe that?
Definitely in the womb when his father.
Was he born in December '69, the same year his father was assassinated?
Yes, he was in the womb with his.
That's right, of course.
He was in his mother's womb.
Was he born in that December when Fred was
that
killed?
part, I'm not sure, but I know that his mother was definitely shown.
Absolutely.
Definitely shown.
So he was either born that month, December '69, or January 7th.
Or right after.
Yeah.
Right after.
Yeah. We're trying to see if we can do an interview with him. Because he was here, of course, as you know, for Malcolm X's birthday.
I've had the honor
2 days ago.
Him. I interviewed him twice. I interviewed him 2 years ago during the Black Panther Film Festival, and then in 2015 at the 30th anniversary of the Moon bombing, when I was I was covering that for News1.com.
30th anniversary.
Right.
May 13th, 1986.
But I met him before that, and of course we observed the Moon bombing again last week.
That's right. So last week was the 33rd anniversary. Would that be correct?
No, that would be.
It was 86 it happened.
85.
85. So
So
we did 34.
36 anniversary.
36.
85 to 2021, 6 years.
Well, we'll be 35. 35th anniversary. Is it 86 it happened?
No, 85, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. So it's the 36th anniversary.
Oh, yeah, 85. Definitely.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing how time has elapsed. And then all the things that we're finding out now, how
The bones being found,
they had the bones all along.
All along.
The police department
Right.
passed it on to university,
Very demonic.
medical school.
University of Penn, UPenn.
Yeah,
Very, very demonic. Our people.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been through a lot.
Absolutely.
We've been through a lot.
Can you believe those children were killed, assassinated by the armed forces of the police department of Philadelphia, and their bones have been held and then passed on to university.
Well, here's something to look at. Mayor Wilson Good, we say is no good at all. We mentioned the Hoover bin Wahad. The Hoover bin Wahad, that situation reminds us of what the Hoover bin Wahad said, and that is we have black enemies of black people. You have black people carrying out the same atrocious or same atrocities towards other black people that we criticize white folks in power for doing.
Absolutely.
And we see that, of course, with the African dictators that are backed by the U.S. and many European countries.
But we should have learned long ago. I mean, just because you have a black face in power does not mean.
Frantz Fanon wrote about that. Of course, we saw that example with President Barack Obama.
That's right.
What a lot of us don't want to speak about, even those of us in the activist community.
And Jeffrey's another will tell you about Frantz Fanon's understanding of consciousness.
Right, but
fractured consciousness.
Du Bois introduced double consciousness as well.
Double consciousness.
And then
Fanon with the fractured consciousness.
They were both correct. I think he went a little bit more into it, Frantz Fanon.
Oh, yeah.
He went because he was a little updated.
Sure. Very interesting. So we want to talk to you about you're quite young. I mean, 42, 43 is young. But you've packed a lot of living.
Brother, I'll be honest with you. I agree with that, James. See, I'm always one to say I don't trip off the age. When I was 16 years old, I saw Minister Farrakhan at 60, deadlift 400 pounds. So from that day forward, say if you're 60, 64, 65, or 66 years old, like my father, I don't consider that old. I don't, because I've seen 90-year-olds run marathons. And, and a friend of mine, I remember, he's a little older than me, very pessimistic about age, and he was always mentioning to me as I was getting ready to turn 40, you're getting ready to turn 40. Say this to me every other day, and I'm like, brother, yes. I said, why are you acting? Are you for real? He would always say that to me, and I said, well, brother, you keep mentioning like the bad thing. I said, brother, it's a family. You're not on a walker. You're not on. When I see people get like 29 and 30 talking about somehow I'm getting ready to hit 30, and I'm like,
to me, it's insane.
Right, definitely.
It's absolutely the most ridiculous thing I've heard. I mean, because you generally you have a chance of living longer, and you can take care of yourself, and you should be looking for the long haul. You want to be there to be in the struggle.
When I tell people how old my parents are, my father 66 and my mother 62 going on 63. For years I've always heard, even before that, your parents are young,
And they are young, by the way. They are young.
And I will tell you, it was four of us, four siblings. I'm the oldest. Next one after me is 36. Next one after me, 10 years younger than me, he's 33 going on 34. Then the next one after me, born in 89.
You all are young. Take this one. You all are young.
So you, Jay, like I said, brother, I don't say that as a compliment.
I get age ranges that are way, I'm way older than the ages. I'll be 63 in August. And people do not get me at 63.
Brother, I didn't
They
either,
peg
brother.
me at late 30s or something like that, which is ridiculous.
I would as well, but I still remember though how devastated I was when Prince had died at just 57.
Right. But you know, you talk about the class, we were just going off on a tangent there, but the class of 58, I was born in 58. You got Michael Jackson, you got Prince, you got a whole set of other people. I'm talking about the pop cultural realm. Madonna, all class of 58, 1958. So, you know, we have people living longer. I mean, we just got the wonderful Brother Leroy in the other interview. You know Brother Leroy.
Definitely.
You know, an elder now, and just an extraordinary person who lived in the village of Harlem his entire life, from grammar school right through tertiary, right through college. So, yeah. So, back to you, Doshon. What is it that you were involved with when you finished college?
I began working.
When it just get a little chronology.
Okay, well, like I told you, I joined the new Black Panther Party as I was finishing in November 2001. Once I had
walked into graduation, as you love to say, in 2002.
Right, definitely, because I try to be accurate, right, and exact.
Yeah,
So, because you don't want to be accused of any discrepancy. So anyway, I began working, you could say, full time as an activist. When I say, well, I don't mean paying bills with the new Black Panther Party. And so,
were they able to pay?
No, I don't mean working. That's what I'm saying.
No,
No,
they probably weren't even.
Well, no,
able to pay you.
9 to 5. It was a 9 to 5, but at that point, I'm honest with you, I was still. I knew that I wanted to, like I say, get into like media, be a journalist. I just didn't know how at that time. I just didn't know how. I had some ideas, but I was going through an emotional crisis at that time. An emotional crisis. I was going through something, nothing tragic, but nevertheless, it was still a crisis that I was experiencing. So I was kind of like knocked out of my orbit. And so finally, when I was able to get myself back, that's when I said, okay, going into media. So I lived in Philadelphia, just to let you know. I was actually, when I worked at the Black Panther Party, I actually moved to St. Louis.
St. Louis,
Missouri, right, Nellyville, okay?
What do you call it?
Nellyville, you know, our brother Nelly, the rapper. I lived there for 6 months attempting to set up a chapter of the new Black Panther Party. That was one of my goals.
And that was what?
2003. That was actually when I moved there. I left here August, the day of the blackout, 2003.
I remember that blackout.
Right.
Most people don't remember that.
Right.
That was a day long, half a day, or
right. That was like a day long blackout. Definitely.
Yeah.
I left during that time.
Lights went out in New York that day.
Definitely. Right.
Yeah.
Bro, they call it a brownout, I think, during the daytime. I believe they call it that. So I moved there, and I attempted to set up a chapter of the Black Panther Party. While I was there, I stayed there for 6 months. While I was there, I worked for a bookstore called Ujiba Maktaba. Okay, wonderful black-owned bookstore. Right, definitely. Wonderful bookstore. Brother Marcus, who was the owner.
Is he still there?
He passed on some years ago, like in 2010, 2011. I connected with a brother by the name of Brother Robert, because he was actually a manager there. And I should have said before connecting with Brother Robert, I connected with a beautiful brother by the name of Anthony Shahid, and another beautiful brother by the name of Sultan Muhammad, close advisors of Minister Farrakhan and formerly advisors and friends of Imam Baraki Muhammad. They have close ties with Elijah Muhammad's family and Minister Farrakhan's family. They were in the Nation of Islam under Elijah Muhammad. Right now, Anthony Shahid should be 65, 66, and Brother Sultan should be 90, 91. They have an organization there called the Tawheed Youth Group that was founded in 1985. Very progressive, African-American, Islamic-led group where if you're a black male, you're welcome to join. They have outreach, prison outreach, job referral, mentoring program, manhood training program. They go through the streets of St. Louis. Whenever they talk about, well, the only time black people raise hell is when white people kill us. There are organizations like the Tawheed Youth Group that I've worked closely with that dispel that rumor, that they eradicate that myth. Anytime a killing takes place between one of us, a violent killing, they intervene. Interventionists.
They're part of the disruption.
That is correct.
Yeah.
They have community programs at the end of Ramadan, the Eid, giving away food. And anyway, right, community disruptors. They walk through the community of St. Louis, speaking with our people.
Well, more correctly, and we like to be as fact-based as possible. They interrupt. Disruptors of violence.
That is correct.
They're not community disruptors.
Right.
They intervene and bring about peace. They effectuate peace. That's their aim. So extraordinary work.
So I ended up, making a long story short, I wasn't successful in in establishing a chapter of the Black Panther Party. I came back to New Jersey, and that was in January 2004. Came back to New Jersey, still working with the Black Panther Party. A few months later, I helped the new Black Panther Party. We helped in North New Jersey broker a peace agreement with then Councilman Roz Baraka, who's now Mayor Roz
Who's
Baraka.
now mayor of Newark.
Right. Between Crips and the Bloods and other street organizations that made national news. It was similar to what.
Now, what year was that again?
That was 2004. That was 2000. But people have done it over
I
the
didn't
years.
realize that Crips and Bloods had been here. I mean, they were doing that foolishness on the West
Right.
Coast.
Oh no.
Elsewhere.
Well, actually, no. That came. I'm gonna be honest with you. That came to the East Coast when I was in high school. So that was like 93, 94. We started seeing signs of it in New Jersey and over here. We actually started
Because
seeing
in New
it.
York, you have the same sort of rubbishy thing with this nonsensical, fratricidal killing.
Definitely. But we
I
have,
remember street tribe. We call them street tribes.
right. No, we still do.
And you
That's
had
what.
conscious political gangs.
Like the Black Spades.
Yeah, I interviewed the Black Spades. He's about 66. One of the interviews he did was a really interesting interview. He'd done 34 years in jail as a result of some other things. But we talked about the history of the Spades, and I talked to Brother Shep 2 days ago at the
Another,
Knockback.
you're definitely a good brother.
They were all Brother Shep's. Brother Shep put forth a thesis, which he says a lot of the people who became activists, they came out of the gangs
Right.
in the 60s and in the 70s. They
That's
were
how
part of the group.
and that's how
I didn't realize that meant.
Remember Young Lords. You know, that's how that's similar with the Young Lords. A lot of that, and of course, remember some of the so-called games that came out of the original Panther Party. That's why they had that film Bastards of the Party. Talk about where the Bloods and Crips get their covers from. Many younger Bloods and Crips that are saying.
But the Bloods and Crips have a torturous, toxic history, right?
Right, they do, but
they're politically conscious.
Well, actually, brother, it depends on who you speak with, Jay. And keep in mind, you have to understand what happened. Bastards of the Party goes into that, how they were corrupted and ended up doing that, but that wasn't the original purpose, if you would. That's one of the reasons why we study. There's a reason why the Bloods call themselves Lamu, which is a Swahili word which means warrior. The Bloods use red, black, and green. The Crips, sky blue and black, after the original Panther Party. That's where they get that from. It's just that many, the other ones don't know, but I'm saying they were corrupted and infiltrated. Right, but at the same time, but you have to understand, Brother Jay, remember though, Brother Detroit Red, he was running wild. So many of us, before they were made right.
It's so important to clean up that.
Definitely.
Clean up that operation.
Definitely.
And to defend it,
But that's what I'm
support
saying.
the community.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's why I helped. Remember the Black Panther Party, we helped broker that with the then Councilman Roz Baraka. There was a treaty that was signed. That made national news. We did that downtown North New Jersey, and Mayor Baraka, Councilman Baraka at that time, he warned our brothers and sisters who were part of the street organization, the street tribes. He said, look, everybody in this room that's black doesn't mean you no good. He was explaining how people in power didn't want to see that take place. And he was speaking about black people in power because of the power of white supremacy.
Now, unhappily, the treaty didn't hold.
No, this would happen. Well, no, this would happen. One of the gang members was shot and a police officer was killed. Okay, at that time, and Minister Farad came to New York in November and December. He spoke to a crowd. That was in 2004. He spoke to the Bloods and the Crips, and he explained to them, watch out. He said, you have to know who you're dealing with. This enemy will start stuff to keep the fighting between you, but justify coming in and killing you. That lecture can be found actually on YouTube, but I was there the night after. Okay, but Councilman Baraka was there when he spoke to the Bloods and the Crips, and I came the day after.
Now let me just ask you, Doshon, your parents had gone to college, right?
My mother and father, yes, they went to college, but I don't believe they finished. They didn't have college.
That's fine. Listen, you want me to reel off the list of autodidacts in our community, the greats? I mean, the list is long. It's astonishing. James Baldwin, Jimmy Baldwin, 12th grade. August Wilson, greatest playwright we produced.
Gordon Parks.
On and on.
Right.
August Wilson probably left school in 6th grade by choice. He just wanted to continue his education on his own. And we just continue on in John Henry Clark, Asa Philip Randolph, more as A. Philip Randolph, another 12th grade.
Elijah Muhammad, 3rd grade education.
So we produced some of the most extraordinary people autodidacts, and some of them went as far as 12th grade. So whatever we have, we take it and we make it, we spread it, and then we educate. Each one teach one. The old admonition. But I was asking that so I can understand, people can know. You came out of a sort of educational,
Yes.
culturally,
And Afrocentric.
African-centered.
Afrocentric, African-centered culturalism, right.
That's right.
Yes.
So that's the advantage. So you were able to avoid a lot of the pitfalls.
Well, keep in mind, brother, it depends because we know a lot of people that come out of activist homes or Afrocentric homes, or well-to-do homes, and they still deviate. What kept me from deviating is that when you grow up, there's always in a certain community, there's always stragglers, if you will, or people that are homeless and drug addicts, alcoholics. And I can remember me and my mother, we would be riding around different parts of Essex County. And you know how you might see a homeless person strung out on drugs, asking to do your window and clean your window for money? Well, a few times we would see people like that. Hey, how you doing? Speaking to my mother, got to clean your window. You know what my mother would say? You see him? Went to high school with him. He was a genius. Drugs did that to him. That's what scared me away from drugs. And then you would always hear people who consider themselves messing their lives up. Running, oh, listen, brother, when I was your age, I messed up. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. So I always said from the age of 13, 14 that I would never tell anyone a don't be like me story, a younger person, because I never wanted to be that person. It doesn't mean that we don't deviate. All of us deviate. But this is the thing. The misconception that many people have made about me to this day is that I grew up in a strictly religious, strictly cultural home. No, I didn't. My parents have presented, I grew up Muslim and I grew up Afrocentric. My parents have presented Islam in a manner that they didn't have to force it on me, or Afrocentricity, or cultural nationalism, if you would. See, I grew up listening to watching Gil Noble and Tony Brown. I would run to the TV watching America's Black Forum. And what I learned from Gil Noble and Tony Brown and Ed Gordon, and then later Tavis Smiley, I incorporated that into my career. So, the first time I went to see Minister Farrakhan, first of all, I've been hearing Minister Farrakhan since I was a little kid, like 4 and 5. I used to call him Flowerkhan when I was little. First time I saw him in person was in 1985 when he came to Madison Square Garden. I was 8 years old. Right,
Big gathering.
Right, that was
just before. It was 2 years before
5,000 people.
Mayor Dinkins was elected.
Oh, right, that was in '85. That was the first year that I saw Minister
1985.
Farrakhan. Right, in person.
At Madison Square Garden. It was packed.
Right, it was packed, and that was
packed to the rafters.
Over 50,000 people. My uncle by marriage, over 50,000 people.
No, not at the Garden. The Garden only holds about 20,000. Fewer than 20,000. So about 19,000.
Right, thanks for the correction.
But it was packed. It probably felt like it was 50,000.
And at the time, my uncle by marriage and my aunt, my mother's sister, they were in the Nation of Islam under Mr. Farrakhan. My uncle was on stage with him, and you can also see on stage at the time was just talking about Khalid Abdul Muhammad. He was the supreme captain at that time. You see him on stage with the binoculars, and you see him.
Was he later? Was he the head of Temple Number 7 Park?
Oh no! At that time, that was Minister Abdullah. He didn't get to Harlem until 1989 and 1990. Khalid, right?
Khalid lasted just about 3 years.
Khalid Abdul Muhammad, right? He became national spokesman, right? He was already, I think, national spokesman, but Minister Conrad had got put in his place, and Khalid had got reassigned. He was still national spokesman for Minister Farrakhan, but at that time at the Garden, he was the supreme captain for the FOI.
Conrad Muhammad is now Reverend Conrad.
That's right, Reverend Conrad.
Do you talk to him?
Every once in a while, and you know what? I told Minister Conrad this. I only told you were actually the second.
Reverend Conrad.
Right. You're the second. Right. You're the second person that actually the third person I told this to. Oratorical wise and activist wise, there were 2 people I wanted to be like when I was in high school: the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and then Minister Conrad Muhammad. I told Reverend Tibble that about himself because I was all Minister Conrad because of his eloquence, because of his pizzazz, and also he was like a big brother. He was young, so a lot of us younger activists, we looked up to him. When I was listening to him, like I said, as a high school student, he would come on TV.
It's amazing because he was a Christian before, and then he became NOI member of the Nation of Islam.
At 18, joined the Nation at 18,
yeah.
right?
Is that when he joined?
Right. Philadelphia, Mosque number 12.
Okay, and then he went back to Christianity.
Right.
So did Benjamin Chavis.
Right. So did Ben Chavis. Right. Ben Christian Muslim and back to Christianity. Right. That was very interesting. Very interesting.
Do you ever talk to Ben Chavis?
Every once in a while, brother. I have been in contact with Dr. Chavis concerning writing full time for National Newspapers Association. Many of my articles have appeared there. You know, but he's in D.C. You know, me living in D.C. part-time, my favorite place to live. You know, like I said, I've actually been in his office. You know, been in his office, but you know, he's my fraternity brother. We're both members of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity incorporated, founded in January 1914. Yes, at Howard University. That's one of the reasons why the Nation of Islam and used Phi Beta Sigma's headquarters for the Million Man March.
Well, you know his background, right? Way before any Nation of Islam.
No, we know the court, the Wilmington 10, all that. No, he's a bad man. No, bro, we know.
You know who was the lawyer who helped him out?
Brother, it escapes me now. You gotta.
It was Reggie. He later became, gone on to become the first black billionaire.
Oh, Reginald Lewis.
Yeah.
Reginald Lewis.
I worked with the Lewis family on a small production, assisting on that production. I produced a lot of theater productions, executive producer. But Miracle in Rwanda, which they ran off-Broadway, small off-Broadway house, in the back of the Rwandan genocide. So one woman performance.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, well, they ran it for 6-7 weeks. And we were supposed to take it to South Africa in May of last year, but lockdown.
Yeah.
Right. So you were with the back to the New Black Panther Party. You were with them.
Yes.
For a number of years.
That was right. And the paper that was actually the New Black Panther paper is where my article as a writer. That was the first time that my art as a professional was published. You know, I've been writing since high school, of course, but that was the first time that it was published in a professional publication, if you would, New Black Panther.
And then what are the publications? Just tell us so we know.
The Movement magazine, Emerge, not Emerge, I'm about to say Emerge. Let's see, Capital magazine.
Is that based in D.C.?
Based in D.C. The Amsterdam News, I've had out, yourblackworld.com. The Black
That's where your articles have appeared.
Definitely. My articles, Black Agenda Report, edited by Glenn Ford. And by the way, Capital magazine was started by a brother named Jamal Jones. He still has a magazine out, and periodically, you know, I may contact him. His magazine is still going strong.
So tell us about the Black Agenda Report.
Glenn Ford, he started that several years ago. Glenn Ford is a progressive brother. I don't like right. I don't like using labels, but he's been right, a leftist out of New Jersey. Bad man. They give political insight. Different people have written for them. Myself, Bashir Muhammad, Akiyemi, Dr. Julian Malvo's written for them. Everyone reads the Black Agenda Report, just like everyone reads Your Black World, which was founded by Dr. Boyce Watkins. But one of the highlights of my career was writing for a Black Agenda Report. But before that, one of the biggest highlights of my career, more so than that, was when I had the honor of reporting for the Amsterdam News. That right there, I love yourblackworld.com and the Movement magazine and Black Agenda Report, but Amsterdam News because of its historical legacy.
Black newspaper.
Yes.
Alongside major other
Pittsburgh Courier, the Afro.
Well, when I'm in D.C., you have the Afro, what is it?
The
Afro-American?
No, it's called the Afro.
Oh, it's now the Afro.
I think it's called the Afro, right. It's still the Afro. And I actually almost started writing for the Afro, as a matter of fact.
I like that paper.
Then you have the Washington Informer.
That's right. That one I know. Yeah.
Washington.
One I know. Yeah.
In fact, some of my articles have appeared in the Washington Informer and in the Afro. Right.
Have you tried becoming a nationally syndicated columnist?
Well, this is the thing, brother. Me writing to me, if you write for an online publication that's not like Your Black World, you already are that. So I am in that category of syndicated columnists. I do have that because of the fact that my stories have already ran through various outlets. So I would be considered that.
Okay.
Yeah. But in this age,
sorry, I was just thinking.
No, I understand. But in this, keep in mind,
old media.
Right, old media. But in this age of the internet, remember some of that has become. You'll very rarely hear anyone be referred to as a nationally syndicated. If you notice that syndicated columnist right now, you very rarely hear that. But I'm thankful to have. See, I came in on the tail end of old media, and at the beginning of new media. See, I've had the honor of being all that as I was emerging as a journalist. Like I said, I'll say again, the tail end of old media, and the beginning, I was in the pioneering days of new media. All this that we see.
Yeah. Well, you definitely in the pioneering days of new media.
Right.
2001, 2002 would be essentially, new media. Maybe you can push it to.
It really started. I really started. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I really started seeing it blow up in 2006 when I first moved to DC, because that's when we started seeing the blogosphere, podcasting. And there was a friend of mine, the brother that actually published the Movement magazine, Brother Rasul, out of Newark, New Jersey. He used to publish the Stone Publications, published the Movement magazine, which was founded by Sister Audrey Young. very, very phenomenal sister. You know, the magazine still exists. I just got on the phone with her earlier. He told me, he said, brother, he said, you might want to start streaming. He said this in 2010 because he's an entrepreneur, so he saw trends. And at that time, I said, no, brother, I'm good. I really don't want to. And this is what we just had. What was that? Ustream.com. And you asked, and I said, and I kind of said, no, brother. I said, looks too.
You said that.
I said, looks kind of bootleg right now, brother. I don't want to do that. And then all of a sudden,
Because you were forward thinking. So
Right.
I'm surprised you said that.
no, me too. No, this is the thing. But I have to remind him, like I said, him being an entrepreneur, selling different products,
Right.
he knows trends when he sees it.
And he told you that in 2010.
2010.
And you didn't see it.
I didn't see,
11
it,
years
but it's the thing. I saw it fairly soon after he said that. It wasn't like I waited like and
Right.
said, oh dang.
Happily so. Too.
Right.
Do you know Black Star News?
Yes.
Ugandan born Milton.
Yes, I know Dr. Amadi. I know him very well. Yeah, definitely. He's actually who I got that. Him and Ed Gordon is who I actually got the idea to start of the Women Journalism course. I was going to do that in D.C. Then I decided to do it on. I put it on hiatus, but I actually planned on doing that called the Ida B. Wells Journalism Workshop that I was going to start months ago. As a matter
4
of
days
fact.
from now, May 25th.
Yes.
You know what day that is.
African Liberation Day.
African Liberation
Yes,
Day.
sir.
We interviewed someone from the Gambia. He's part of, he has an organization called African Liberation Day Foundation. Not the African Liberation, not the African, it's the African Union, but he has an organization. They're doing something online, a virtual thing for African Liberation Day. Here in the States, you don't see that much. In Europe, when I'm in London,
The only people that
I see
really
a lot
do
more
it,
activity.
the only people that really do it would be the All African Revolutionary People's Party that was founded by Kwame Ture, who's carried that tradition. Has been Brother Bob Brown, Paso Ricks,
and of course the Lambi Brad.
right, but also
the
too,
main Lambi Brad.
don't forget out of the Uhuru movement, Brother Omali Yeshitela. So there are usually two main black organizations that do it. The AARP, All African Revolutionary People's Party, they usually do something in D.C., and then you have Omali Yeshitela going in.
But in the tri-state area where we are, New York, New Jersey, what have you seen in
I'm
recent
going to
years?
be honest with you, brother. See, in recent years, I've been in D.C. for the celebration. I really
Will
didn't
you
see
be in D.C. for this one?
I'm not sure. But I know the organizers of both. But the funny thing is, Bob Yeshitela's organization, the Kwame Ture's group, at one time they were both doing it in D.C. but on different parts of the district. Up here, the only thing that I see are like mainly I see forums, and of course in D.C. you see forums as well. But I see it advertised and promoted, but I don't really see it getting that much hype unless it's within our circle, the activist circle.
Dashawn, you will get a copy of this edition once it's edited and sound and everything is taken care of. But we want you to tell folks where they can see
Okay, definitely.
your site online,
Yes.
or if it appears in a physical paper,
What would I
and
forget?
so on. And also, before we wind up, I also want you to tell us what your vision, what you see, the future of shall we say, activist journalism? Is that okay to say that?
Definitely.
Where you see that going?
Well, advocacy journalism is another
Right.
very important. Well, just to let you know, I forgot to mention that my current job title is that I'm a host and reporter for Extraction Attraction. It's a YouTube channel. You see my stuff on Extraction Attraction, my broadcasting, my interviewing.
Please,
Right.
let people know
Right,
where.
definitely. Extraction Attraction, which was founded by Brother Razel Patah. He's a brilliant engineer tech. Just to let you know, I've traveled. I've been a part of many historical things. I worked with Razel Patah for 10 years. For those of you who may not remember, when Umar Johnson, the hearing that he had 3 years ago, 2018, that was my footage that they used. I streamed that. If you look up,
Do you work with him?
no, I know Dr. Johnson. I don't work with him. I know Dr. Johnson. But,
Is he?
oh, I've known. Listen, I met Dr. Johnson.
He and Roland Martin went at it.
Well, definitely. Some obviously rightfully so. But I've known Dr. Johnson since 2004 when I lived in Philly as we were jump-starting our careers. I've known him for quite some time. Last time I was with him, it was in February, and you go to our channel, Extraction Attraction, we screened his book signing that he had for his new book. You can find my stuff as well, like I said, online, Doshon Farad. My Instagram page is Doshon Farad Media. I'm on Facebook, Doshon Farad. I'm the communications director for Foresight for Life, which is a community service organization out of Washington, D.C. My stuff is everywhere, but I've had the privilege, I'm a multimedia journalist, so that means that I've broadcasted, I've hosted, written, I've produced, I've directed. Like I said, I've done every print journalism, online journalism, or they say digital journalism.
I really want to. I really want. There's a lot of enormous amount of progressive money that's out there, including black money and African money. I really want to see a startup pick you up.
I appreciate that, brother, but I've also
you are a multi
brother, but I've also hosted shows in Manhattan Neighborhood Network.
Right.
Thanks to our brother, my big brother Nat Wood.
That's
I've
right.
actually hosted,
30 frames a second.
Right. I've actually guest hosted that show, and also I have my own show that I try to do called Worldwide.
We're talking about a platform that will be remunerative for you.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, we want you to be able to have just a large means of resources to be able to do.
Well, brother, I'm being honest. Now, brother, this thing I would say that would just enhance it because with extraction and traction, I do that now. I have a budget to travel. Anytime I'm on salary with them, but no, it's always listen, brother. I always say.
Who funds that, by the way?
This thing there, brother. We're a tech company, so we have clients. We do all types of stuff. We do streaming services. All people hire us to stream their events. So we are, like I said, we.
And you're based out of. That's based out of. You were telling me that off screen earlier.
Out of New Jersey.
Out of New Jersey. Okay.
Extraction and traction, like I said.
Extraction.
Attraction. That's our YouTube channel. So, like I said, my boss, Razel Batal, my friend, another big brother of mine, I've worked with him since 2010. He actually used to have the Black History Channel on YouTube. And you see all the old lectures of college, blackhistorychannel.org. That's Razel Batal. Sarnetta and them, they all know him. In fact, Sarnetta gave me my first national platform before YouTube in 2004. And so the other day he had me on Malcolm's birthday interview. Pam Africa. I've been on Sarnetta. I have to give love. Right. I have to give love to Sarnetta TV. Because support Sarnetta TV. Support all independent black media that's progressive. Don't support independent black media that's nothing more than white people and blackface. So I give love to Brother Sarnetta because he gave me my first national platform in 2004, 2005. He would have me speak on camera. He was the first one to give me a national platform as I was jump-starting my career.
Now he's also done. Did he do a couple videos, a couple documentary videos?
I believe
with Dr. Falou.
He may have. He may have, dear brother. Sarnetta's done so much, it's hard to keep up with him. He's one of my heroes in this.
Right.
Because he took YouTube, brother, in terms of black consciousness, brother. And took it like he used YouTube. When they say whatever you do, be revolutionary, he did that with YouTube.
That's right.
To the point that anyone that calls themselves so-called conscious, Afrocentric, that's say in my generation or younger, they have to come through him.
Because he laid the groundwork.
That's right.
Okay, tell us what you envision.
Oh, in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
For activism.
And as we wound down, we're coming down to
activism journalism, or another word would be we call it advocacy journalism, but I like activist journalism better. In the next 10 years, the brother's going to grow. Remember that right now, thanks to the internet, you don't have to go to any journalism school to be a journalist, to be a media personality. But actually, it was like that even before the internet. Remember,
all of that was like that. You didn't have to go to film school.
Right. They ended up even though there were journalism schools in advance. But remember, Peter Gil Noble. He should have been the first one I mentioned.
Peter Jennings, I think dropped out of high school.
Right. He did end up. He had a high school diploma.
Oh, he had a high school diploma. Right. And he became. What's his name? Brian Williams, just high school.
Right. Brian Williams. Actually, I like Brian Williams too. Another one of my heroes. But my heroes are mainly Ed Gordon, Tony Brown, Gil Noble. I'm sorry, let me say that in order. Tony Brown, Gil Noble,
Can't leave Tony Brown out.
Ed Gordon, and Tabitha Smiley. Because Tabitha Smiley is the one that he's the spark that ignited my career. He's who made me want to become a journalist. And anyway, in the next 10 years, you're going to see advocacy or activist journalism, as I prefer. Thanks, and that's what Boyce Watkins called me. He called me an activist journalist one time. He said, I respect you, brother, because you're not just a journalist, you're an activist journalist. He said this publicly. So anyway,
I would even add that you're an educator as well. So
I'm honored, brother. Now, this is the thing. I've written scholarly articles too. So not only do I do op-ed, but I've written articles dealing with our history. So I have been published. I don't just do news stories, but I do articles, and then me coming up under Michael Everett Dyson, that influence. I do the op-eds as well.
Well, now you're talking about serious heaviosity, as a comedian would say.
Right. I love Dr. Dyson because Dr. Dyson, like I said, he's my favorite intellectual, and he's the reason why I decided some of the people call me a public intellectual. I got there from watching him since high school. I was watching him before he blew up.
Right.
And Cornell West. But anyway, you're going to see.
You're talking about people who've done the work. They've done the work.
That's right. But in the next 10 years, as I was saying, you're going to see an increase of activist journalism because of the climate.
And we really look forward to seeing the things that you will be putting out,
I'm honored.
Doshon. And I'm glad you took the time out. I know you're busy. So for New Millennium Oral History Archives, I'm the presenter, New Millennium Oral History Archives in the World. We're doing this interview al fresco. We thank you for coming down to Union Square Park and doing this today. And I know you're going to be busy coming up on African Liberation Day, African Union Day, African Liberation Day, 4 days hence, 25 May 2021. So we look forward to reading what you will be putting down on paper.
I'm honored.
Thank you very much for taking the time out,
Thank you for having
Doshon.
me.
Thank you.